Hey guys, holy shit. You don't believe my last day. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what happened when I woke up, and then I'll back up and tell you what happened. I woke up this morning. I went to the computer, and I thought it was the evening, like the evening, like 7 o'clock in the evening. And I looked at my computer. Well, before I went to bed, it was the 19th. I looked at my computer, and it's the 20th, and I thought it was the evening. So I checked the hockey game to see if it was on, because it was 7 o'clock. I missed the hockey game, and it's not on yet. And then I went on my computer, and it's AM. It's not the 19th. So I went to bed, and I slept from like 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock. I didn't have a dream, anything. It was just 1 minute went by. It seemed like 1 minute. I didn't wake up, nothing. I just woke up. So, man, it's crazy. So, I wake up this morning. Immediately, I have to go to the bathroom. And I could hear my innocence talking to some people. And I'm like, it's still going on? And what I mean by that was, we have to back up 2 days, okay? Or the 18th. Today's the 20th of November. No, December. Fuck. I thought I was losing my mind. Because I never miss a day. I never miss a night where it happens in 1 minute, where I don't remember a dream or anything. Crazy stuff. So I go back. This goes back to the 18th. So after I uploaded the video on the 18th, I lay down to bed to go to bed at night, and all hell was breaking loose on me, man. All hell was breaking loose. A new Christ came. This is how it started. I was in St. Jude, I think. They moved me there. A new Christ I never met. He comes in. And, no, this is the afternoon, sorry. This is the afternoon, like lunchtime. A new Christ talking to me. I laid down. A new Christ came. And he said a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, a couple things I remember is that, well, I don't even remember. But he was very nice. And I remember he said that they want to heal me, but I have to stay here. I can't go back to the illusion, which is the reality in my head. And I explained to him very detailed. I go, look, I'm not happy, and currently I'm not happy because of the big sex thing. I don't want the sex. And when I say this, I'm literally fighting with JC, saying, you're wrong. I don't want that. He thinks it's healing me. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've had 50 Jesuses or more take me through the sex thing. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. And that's it. I'm done with it. I went through the psyop sex, the where have you sinned sex, what kind of a pervert are you sex, all of it. Exposed all of it. And I had to expose all of it to become one with Christ, to submit my innocence to Christ. They had to dig through every damn thing in my head. And then you submit your innocence to Christ. They took me through that ritual. And so they had to do all that for 7 years. Every time I went from 0 to the 9th tier of Christ. Each one of them I had 1 or 2 Christs. Each level I had 1 or 2 Christs. Each Christ did the mental, the sex, everything. All the psyops, And they healed me up through different programs and everything, all the way up to the 9th tier. Then I went to the first tier in the light. And then I went to the second tier in the light. And they did it all. Then I went back down, and I'm up and down and up and down, and they still did it. The sex, the mental, everything. Each Christ was starting anew. I'm sick of the sex thing, and I told them all my reasons why, and you know it. And if you don't, watch the old videos. I take you through the last 7 years, more or less, of what happened to me. Day by day. Oh, Christ. Well, my last channel got ripped down because of Hillary. The Hillary. You can't say anything bad about Hillary. Anyway. Then, now, I'm sick of the sex thing. And I told him that. And then he goes, well, I know you want to be here. And I go, well, the reason I want to be here with you is because I am here with you. And I'd rather be with you than floating around no man's land in zero, getting into fights, and I'm never going to get healed. And I go, the whole reason I came here and asked Christ for help was to heal my mind, my brain, out of the spirit world. And I'm almost there. I'm like 90% done. And he goes, okay. He goes, I know you don't like I know you don't like the illusion. I go, I love the illusion. I mean, I love it. I love the animals. I love the birds and the butterflies and the smell in the morning. I love swimming in the lakes. I like going to look for Bigfoot. I like looking for UFOs. This is what I like. I go, but currently, and he don't understand. He goes, currently, I go, I'm spent 2 weeks fighting with Christ over his sex videos or whatever they are. Sex, I'm tired of it. That's all. I go, I'm sitting here for a fucking week in this goddamn chair. I can't even go outside and do anything because I got no fucking energy, right? And I'm like, I'm sick of this sex stuff. Just end it. I want to heal up and get the hell out of here. So get me back on track. And I just got done the Sisters of Eve. And I go, every time I get close to healing, you bring in the Sisters of Eve. And then I get close to healing, and then you bring in this little entity that likes sex. And I'm like, I don't want to have sex. Bring in the entity, heal me up, great. I don't have to hear anybody anymore. I don't have to hear they think my spirit wants to be with my wife. That's fine. I don't want to hear it. Here, my spirit can hang out with my wife, do whatever, and my kids. I love it. But I'm going insane. I want to shoot my fucking head off with a shotgun. That's how bad it is sometimes. And it's getting better. It's got a lot better. I can barely hear him. As long as I keep to my morning routine, I'm happy. So, this is what he says. And he goes, well, when I was on earth, I didn't like reality either. And I wanted to commit suicide, but I gave myself to Christ. And I go, I know. And, well, I didn't say that. I said, well, yeah, I know. I go, I'm screwed. You guys are all worried about my little sex issue, which has already been taken care of 100 times, 50 times, 25 times, whatever, more like 100. And I go, it's been taken care of. I'm done. There's nothing left to lose. There's nothing left to learn. Now you're just exploiting me, and that's what I'm mad at. And I go, that's why I'm mad. I go, I love it. I want to stay here in the illusion. I'm not killing myself, but my spirit loves my wife. My soul loves my wife, and he won't let go. In my mind, Skin Richard don't give a fuck. I've never fucking met her physically. They don't see the skin people, humans on earth. They don't see us. They see the soul, which is incorporated in the body. Okay? And it's weird, man. It's a fine line between soul and your thoughts. Now, with that said, we had that big discussion, and I was very calm about it. It was like, not argument, but this was a new guy, and he goes, and I go, I even had to have. And he goes, why? And I go, ask Jesus. He told me it was to give the kids experience. And so he freaked out. He went and yelled at the Christ that gave me the experience. And he goes, I was giving the kids experiences, and it wasn't the only thing I did. And I'm like, Yeah, I'm like, I've screwed every damn thing you can possibly screw 10 different ways, psychologically, from Jello Biafra Christ, when I first started 7 years ago. He ripped me a new one, 10 different ways. He was the worst, the worst. I spent like 3 weeks laying in bed, going through PSYOP program. He ripped me a new one. Check it out if you can find the video. Anyway, I went through all that. I went through having... This is what happens in the spirit world in Christ. Alright? I had kids. My wife had kids. Now, how does that happen? I made a video about it already, but new people probably haven't seen it. When you have kids and you're in the body, you're special. Now, your kids are going to be in the spirit world for 100 years, learning, developing, going to school. When they first came out of my wife in the spirit world. Now, Richard, was in the spirit world, perceiving the spirit world 100%. I can see my wife standing there in front of me. She's dead, but I'm in the body, and I can see her standing there. I lay down in bed. She comes. We make love. You're basically having sex with a spirit, heart to heart, making love. That's what love means, not sex. Love is two people, two entities in love. Anyway, I did that 100 times. Kids start popping out of her chest. She has 2 growths, one on each, or on her chest. 2 growths, not her boobs, her chest, like emotional. My stuff and her stuff, emotional. And all of a sudden, 2 little kids come out and they're going, meow, 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 meow. And they're born in Christ consciousness. What was special is because I'm in the body. Alright? I lost all my skins, I'm in the body. These kids pop out, and they're flying around my head screaming. With my wife, okay? So as they get older, after years, they get a little older, Christ puts me in a dream with the kids, specifically to have sex with them. They don't see sex. They just see sex as a reproduction organ thing and an experience. So he gave the kids experiences with me and others that weren't even my kids. They were his kids. I'm in there having sex with them just so they can have experiences of what it's like to be in the physical. Holy shit. They put other spirits in me just to have experience of what it's like to be in the illusion and look through my eyes and smell and taste. Okay? Now, I told Christ that. He flipped out, went and talked to the Christ that did it. I could hear him talking and yelling. And they weren't fighting or anything. But, you know, that got done. I go, now go talk to Jello Biafra and start at the beginning. And then go talk to every Christ and see what they did to me. And I go, every time they get done their litmus tests of sex, body, mind, soul, or whatever, psyops and lessons, they send me to another Christ in a different town, on a different level. And I go, I went from 0 to 9 and up to as high as I could go in physical. I could probably go higher. I know I have been a lot higher. Anyway, fuck. So finally he's getting what I'm saying. And I also said, look, I go, you guys, when Christ is in me, and I'm watching a computer, and I'm thinking to myself of situations on the computer, I'm thinking to myself, and I'm weighing options of probable realities. And I said this, to put it really simple, imagine you're living your life on the earth, Richard, the ego, and you're in a body, and you're living your life. And you and your mom says, don't touch this, you'll burn yourself. The stove. Okay? You never had an experience with a stove. Never had an experience. You're on the earth to experience. Don't touch it. Then she leaves. The fucking stove's on. She went to the bathroom. And you're sitting there thinking, okay, what's the stove? What's she talking about? You're just a little kid. You don't know. And you're like, well, if I don't touch it, I'll never know. So you walk over there and you touch it. You burn your fucking finger. Okay? Done. You had an experience. You learned. Don't touch the fucking stove. Trust your mother. Now you trust your mother. And now you know hot is bad. Alright? Very simple. And I go, that's what I'm in. I weigh my options. When I have a probable reality, I like to weigh my options. The good and the bad of a situation. Christ is in me. He takes the bad thought and thinks, so I'm thinking about Christ on a TV show. Okay? And I go to myself, I think, wow, I wonder if that's real. Is Christ really like that? Is Christ that bad? And he thinks I'm accusing him. Right there. I'm thrown under the bus just because I'm watching a program and had a thought about that. He thinks I accused him. And you don't accuse Christ. That's all you do. You don't fucking you can accuse, but you're never going to talk to him. You know. Now, because of that, all I was doing was thinking about it. Just thinking. But he thinks I'm accusing. So now I got all this shit to deal with and a big argument. As soon as I lay down and go to bed, I got a big argument. You accuse me of being blah, 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 blah. And I go, dude, I was just watching a fucking TV, right? So I spend fucking all night, all day, over 100 times, 100 fucking times. All because I thought and I was watching TV. I wasn't paying attention to anything that was going on below my fucking neck. But he thinks I'm accusing him. And all I was doing was thinking about the goddamn TV program. Wow, that Christ is really rotten. He thinks I'm fucking talking about him. And that's where the problem comes. In the body. Now, because of that and that, I woke up. And what the fuck was I talking about? I can't even remember now. I have to make these videos faster, but I can't because Jesus Christ. Okay, so I'm talking to this Christ. And I say, and for some fucking reason, I don't know what, it came to Bigfoot. Some experiences I've had. And he's going, Bigfoot, you think that's real? And I'm going, yeah, I know it's real. I know it. And and then my spirit kids say, I've seen him. Richard's seen him. Rich seen him. Which means the soul. Because I astral traveled to a Bigfoot and I fucking saw the Bigfoot standing there beside me. Years ago, before any of this happened. Before Christ consciousness. Now, he goes, oh, I don't think so. I think it was just a dream or imagination or something. I go, dude, I'll go show you right now if you want. And he goes, really? I'm going, yeah. Let's go. And so he came into me. I let him in. He wrapped his arms around me. And I flew. Right to the Bigfoot that I saw. Here I am. It wasn't the same thing. It was in a different place. But it was in the woods. It was in a different place. Here's the Bigfoot. Hair and all. And I go now reach out and touch his heart. Right? He's freaking. He's fucking freaking. The kids are freaking. One kid won't go. She stayed back. The other, Julie, I think, came. She likes to experience stuff with me. The other girl is more like with her mom. She's more of a mom girl. And, but Julie's more of a me, you know, get into the meat of things. So anyway, it was Christ, Julie, and me. We're standing in the woods watching this damn Bigfoot. And all I did was astral travel to her, or project my consciousness and travel. Okay, in the soul. Now, it's different for me because I can just leave my body that quick. So anyway, they're all of a sudden Christ. I don't know what happened. We looked at it, and I could actually smell the Bigfoot, and it smelled like old piss. It just smelled old piss. Anyway, freaked me out. Then I'm like, yeah, big deal. Who gives a shit? I go, I got a lot better stuff. And I go, how about the monkey dudes? How about this? Christ never heard any of this. So I got to tell them all again. And I go, what happens if I went to the monkey dude right now? What would you do? He goes, what's the monkey dude? So I told him the whole story of how they went to get the monkey dudes and the different Christ. This Christ don't know a goddamn thing about. He don't know nothing in the 7 years. He don't know nothing about the 7 years. It's just what they want him to do. And this is where the disconnect happens. Every Christ loses what the last one did to me. They don't give a fuck. It's my turn now. This is the way it is. And so I go read the memos, man. Come on, you're supposed to know every damn thing that happened to me. Why do I gotta... And every time I go to a new Christ, I gotta explain all this shit. And I get in trouble. Because they never talk to the other one. Here's Richard. Take him. This is the problem with me in the body and soul. Fuck. So we went to see the Bigfoot. We came back. The Christ, he was crying. He didn't stop crying for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, what's wrong, man? He's like, Bigfoot, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you did this. He was crying. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to sleep. So, figured, I don't know. So I went to sleep. I woke up. A different Christ came. And a different Christ came to me. And he said, you are in shit. You've been accused. And I'm like, what? Because you're in trouble. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Been there before. So I went and I was playing on the computer. All of a sudden I heard a bunch of rumbling. Turned off the computer, laid back down, brought in Christ. And they said, because they said, and it was a voice. And I'm with a Christ here who's representing me. And I was standing in this room with this Christ way up high on like a judge thing, on a pedestal or something. And he's going, and it was just forceful. It was very manly and loud. And I'm like, oh fuck, I'm really in trouble. So my wife's yelling at me, and my kids they're saying, don't say it. And with Jesus that's with me, he's saying, you don't say a goddamn thing. You just listen and shut up. You don't fucking even think. Basically, that's what he said. This guy is the high supreme commander of Christ consciousness. He's the fucking end all and be all. You do not fucking say a word. And all I heard was this. This is what I heard. He goes, Richard, you're back in the illusion minus one life, or one lie. You're back in the illusion minus one lie. I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't even know what that means. I'm thinking to myself, right? I don't even know what that means. Minus one lie. So I asked Christ, I go, what's that mean? And he explained it, but it was too crazy to figure out. And then I'm laying there, and they kicked me out of Christ consciousness. They kicked me out of Christ consciousness. So I'm still with Jesus. I left Christ consciousness. And I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do without Christ, right? And I started panicking. All of a sudden, Mom starts screaming from my heart. Okay? Now, Mom is higher than Christ. She's the creator. Okay? She's the creator. Now, maybe not everybody in Christ consciousness has 14 sparks. I got 14 sparks. I've earned. Okay? So when Mom talks, they hear her. She starts fucking screaming. Basically, Christ threw me under the bus for a bunch of bullshit. I don't even know about it. Mom starts screaming. Oh, and she said this. Now, this is how Mom talks in riddles and shit. I don't understand it. This is between her and Christ. I didn't even know what the hell she's talking about. This is some Christ stuff and her. She says, I saw prisoners. She chanted, prisoners, I saw prisoners. Like 10 times or 20, 30. I saw prisoners. She just chanted that, screaming, I saw prisoners, I saw. And the big commando Christ hears it. Within him, and all the people around. I saw prisoners. For like 5 minutes. And then she says, I saw prisoners laid out on you. I saw prisoners laid out on you. I saw prisoners laid out on you. And then she starts chanting, laid out on you, laid out on you. I saw prisoners laid out on you. And she's chanting that for like 10 minutes. And it's echoing throughout these whole proceedings of what I'm going through. And I'm sitting there going, and I'm like, Mom, shut up, you're killing me here, you're killing me. I don't even know what she's talking about. This is between her and the big commander Christ. Commander goes, okay, we're going to do one more review, make sure we get this right. And I'm like, all right. He leaves. I'm sitting there laying in bed talking to this Christ. A lesser Christ. I don't know. Don't ask me. Christ. They're all Christ. So I was sitting there talking to this guy. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? He goes, don't talk. And he's doing another review. So I'm talking to him for like 2 or 3 minutes. All of a sudden, he goes, shut. He's there. Christ has come. And I'm like, okay, whatever, man. I don't understand. And he goes, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what he's saying. It's a whole bunch of important words that I don't understand. And he goes, I heard something like, everything that happened is over with. Go back to normal. And I'm like, well, all right. There we go. So, what? I asked Christ beside me later that night, and I go, what the hell happened? He goes, you, Richard, you're not supposed to talk to Christ. Richard the ego. Richard the ego, in his fucking wisdom, which I knew nothing about, so I had no wisdom, went and talked to Christ about Bigfoot. I brought him to Bigfoot on the earth, in the physical. And because I did that, I freaked him out. And now he's fucked. I don't know how fucked he is, but he freaked out. I compromised Christ from the ego world. That is a big, big no-no. That's all Lucifer shit. So they think I'm fucking Lucifer or something. I'm like, dude, he wanted to see it. So I took him and showed it. I'm like, he asked. And because he asked, and I didn't know no laws about this shit, I took him, and shit happens. But that is a no-no. People from the ego world do not compromise Christ. And I did. Okay, that's 15, 20 minutes. So, that happened. It ain't just begun. After that, I'm with that Christ. The one that's talking to me. A new one. I don't know where I am now, my soul. Yesterday or this morning I was in St. Jude. I don't know where I am now. I think maybe they stuck me back in, no they didn't. So, I went on, and today is today now. I went to sleep that night. It was pretty normal. And that was it. And I was still talking to this Christ about the sex stuff, but I wanted it to go away. Lunchtime yesterday, I lay down to get my afternoon nap because I needed it. I was up at 3 o'clock. And Christ goes, you don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on now? And he goes, don't say anything. This is all timed for you. So as soon as I lay down, It's time for me to have this experience. And they timed it. Oh, man, I don't even know how to begin or where to begin. So, I'm standing, my wife and kids to my left, Christ on the right. And there's a bunch of people sitting in chairs at a big table, big white table. And they're all different colors. And they're going to do a whole question and answer thing and find out what the fuck's going on with me, because I guess I've done other bad stuff. Just out of the blue. So I'm like, and Christ is saying, oh, it was crazy. I don't even remember so much. Because, and this is not about the Bigfoot compromise. This is about something else that happened. A whole bunch of things about the fights I had. All the Christ fights I had. And the sex thing. For the last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I've had some serious ass fights. And now they're picking me apart and finding out where the fuck I'm going, what's going on. They want to know what's going on with me. And why this Bigfoot Christ thing happened. And they're asking me questions and about a fight that happened just 2 days before. And I'm not allowed to talk. I'm just allowed to listen. My innocence has to talk. So they're asking my innocence questions. And I got all my witnesses and my wife. And because my wife was with me, she experienced what I experienced and Christ. And now she experienced in me when I went to see Bigfoot and what happened. Christ was in me and went and seen an experience. And it turned out to be I compromised Christ. This thing is about all the things that happened that led up to this. So I got through the first session, and it was about what are the problems or something like this. And it was long and tedious, and I couldn't talk. I just had to watch. And my innocence was explaining what I explained to you earlier about how I'm watching TV, and I think in my ego, not my soul, my ego is thinking, and Christ is in me. And he's thinking. I'm thinking about the damn show. Just ponder. And Christ accuses me of condemning Christ. Because I'm watching Christ on the show. Right? I'm accused of, and we got in a big fight about that. And I have to clear myself of that. But none of them understand the ego. Or maybe some do, but not all of them. Anyway. That went on. Then I talked about the sex thing. Having all the sex stuff happen. Me in my head going insane, trying to understand it all, but don't understand it all. And I have to interpret it in the moment, and I just lose it. And I'd rather lose it in rage and telling Christ to bad things. See, I can't even say it now because I'm getting shit. So I get in a fight with Christ, one of them, about the sex things because they're pumping me. I'm tired of it. I want to heal. I want to get out of here. I want to go back in the illusion. Bye-bye. No more voices. Ever. I don't even care. I'll be with Christ conscious. I'm happy here. Yeah, it's just this sex stuff and you guys are driving me nuts. And there's a couple of other things. And I can't take it. So here we are in this big fucking committee talking about it. About all the things that happen. So, God, I don't even know how to begin, guys. I spent 2 or 3 hours talking about one subject, the sex thing, which is the sex thing. I woke up, thought it was over, and I ate supper, went to bed around 11. I went to bed around 11. I woke up which seemed like a minute later. No, I was laying in bed, and they were talking. So I went back to bed, and I was still in the big committee talking to all these ladies, and Christ, my innocence was talking about the experiences I had, and trying to tell them about how rich is perceiving from the ego, so they can get orientated in what I'm talking about. Holy fuck. I went to bed, woke up 2 hours, I'm sleeping, I'm having a dream, and all of a sudden I had a gut regurgitation thing, where what's where your fucking stomach acid comes up, so I puked up a mouthful of fucking acid, because I drank tomato juice before I went to bed, and I should have done that, so I had acid reflux. I had an acid reflux where I puked up fucking hot tomato juice and stomach acid, and I'm like, ugh, and I'm running to the bathroom, spitting out, and my fucking stomach's killing me. I'm taking a piss, puking in the fucking toilet, spitting it out, having a piss, and the whole time they're going, oh, Richard needs a break, he's just puked up some tomato juice. And in front of this committee, I'm standing there pissing in front of the committee, spitting fucking puke in the toilet because I had acid reflux. Then I went and grabbed the vinegar, a bottle of olive juice, drank the olive juice, and that negates the stomach acids to take the acid reflux away, right? And the whole time I'm doing this, they're still talking about, and it's like 2 o'clock at this point. I'm remembering now. It's 2 o'clock at this point, 2 a.m. And I'm like, I have a cigarette, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just listening, and Christ is like, do not talk, and he's blocking and all this shit. And I'm going, oh, dude, I just want to sleep. I ain't talking. Do whatever the fuck you want, I don't care. Hang me, kill me, fucking love me, whatever. I'm tired. And then I go back to bed, and I'm laying there, and they're all talking. I'm gone. So I'm out for like 1 minute. I laid down, hit the pillow, and I woke up. And I thought it was that evening. I thought it was the evening for some reason. Because I don't know what fucking day it is. I thought it was the evening of the 19th. Turns out it was the morning of the 20th. How that happened, I don't know. There's someone talking to me right now. You might be able to catch it if you're real careful. EVP stuff on here. Anyway. They're still talking about it. And now this was about, I'm watching TV, and Christ is in me, and I asked a question to myself in my thoughts. I asked a question. I pondered something. Christ interpreted that ponderedness, for as far as I understand, because it's the only thing I did, because I wasn't talking to Christ all afternoon, and I was just watching the damn TV, pondering things. I wonder if that was really, really real. And the next thing I know, I'm accusing Christ of this. And I go, you cannot accuse me, my whole being, of a thought that I had in my head. You can't. There's no way. And that pissed me off. And that happens 1,000 times. 1,000 times. But this was a bad one. 100,000 times. And Christ, he don't separate ego world from soul world. To him, it's the soul. Everything's the soul. I'm like, dude, I have a brain in my head that ponders shit. I ponder it. I think about it, the good and the bad, and probable realities, and things. And in the movie, it was, what the fuck was it? The sword chopping movie where they chop each other up. The one guy, Caesar's in it. Anyway, it's on Netflix. Spartacus. So I was watching this Crixus guy on Spartacus chopping up people, and I'm like, and he's doing, it's just chaos, right? And I'm pondering the ins and outs of what Crixus is doing, and all this sex shit. Somehow, some way, I'm watching this damn 3 seasons of this stuff. This is like my 10th fucking episode I'm watching. Somewhere in that, I had a thought where, oh, blah, blah, blah. Christ got pissed off, thought I was accusing him or blaming him or compromising him, whatever. Pissed him off. He went fucking ape shit on me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was just watching a damn movie. You accuse me of this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I go, dude, why are you even in me? I didn't even know you were in me. All right? You can't. You can't accuse me in my mind for thoughts, good or bad or indifferent. This is how I weigh my shit. When I'm walking down the street and there's a fucking dark alley with a whole bunch of dark figures walking around back there, I'm going to think it's not a good fucking thing to go down there, or I'm going to fucking turn around. I better go on this way. And that's what I do on the TV shows. I think about the fucking plot of the fucking show and the characters and what's going on and the bigger picture of things. Somehow he interpreted that as me accusing him. And that's happened 100 times. I wake up now. This shit's still going on. I'm waking up. I woke up right this morning at fucking 7 a.m. I slept 6-7 hours. I woke up once because I puked in my mouth. And I don't even remember that. I thought that was yesterday. Jesus Christ. I don't even know what fucking day it is. Well, I do now. But anyway, at the time I didn't. So here I am. And the committee of women are still women in Christ. They're all there talking to me. My innocence is talking to them right now as I'm doing this. And they're just... And I have to go through my spirit. I'm so thankful to Mom and my innocence. As much as my innocence drives me nuts, he's explaining the relationship between Richard the ego, Richard the soul, himself, my wife, and kids, and Christ, and Richard. The whole point of me being here was to take Richard out of the picture. I'm just about there, but all this shit happens. Then, they go on break. I'm standing there. All of a sudden, these 2 ladies are talking to me. Maybe one's my wife, because she looked pretty good. And she's going, I don't think it was my wife, though. And they're going, I wonder how all this started. And my innocence goes, the sisters of Eve started it. And she goes, yeah, but it already started. And she goes, with the Queenie thing. And she's going, yeah. She goes, all this started compromising Richard, the ego. We all started compromising Richard, the ego, bringing shit that I don't like to the surface, which has already been done 50 times. But they're doing it. The little Queenie thing that's running around in me is creating these fucking problems and making Christ fight, where I gotta prove myself or argue with Christ, which gets Richard, the ego, my soul, and my innocence in shit, because they don't understand the fucking ego. I don't think. Maybe they do, but they don't fucking get it. They don't know who's talking, the soul or Richard. Richard the ego or Richard the soul. Then there's Richard the innocence and Richard the spark. And Christ has got to fucking figure all this out all the time, every single one. And then you get a new Christ 2 days later, and you got to go through it all again. Fuck. Stay out of this. Don't talk to the fucking dead. You do not want to be here. You cannot make it. You can't make it. The only reason I make it, I don't even know. I should be dead 3 times, 4 times, probably more. I don't know. But anyway, this is what you go through, guys. And I go, so anyway, she's talking to Christ. And Christ is going, yeah, you're right. All this started when the sisters of Eve came. Now, I think the little Queenie thing is the other sister. The one sister, she came, stuck that thing in me, did a whole bunch of stuff. Then the other sister, the sex queen, she did a bunch of stuff, good stuff, to fix me up. They brought me in the box, back in the illusion. I don't hear anything. Well, that was a couple of days ago. I'm hearing fucking everything now. Oh, Christ. Then, they think it all started with the Sisters of Eve and this little Queenie, which I think is the second half of the Sisters of Eve. The first one, just two of them. So I think I'm working with the second one. And she's gone now, thank God. They got rid of her after this. So, just as I started making this video, they went on break, coffee break or something, before the proceedings. And now, just as I'm getting done this video, they're talking again to my innocence. And I can hear the lady talking to my innocence about more stories. And they're trying to understand 7 years ago of why I called Christ to help me out. Because I was losing my fucking mind. I was totally wrapped up in the spirit world. But now, they gave me all the lessons of Christ. I became a Christ. Oh yeah, here's another little thing. They go, when you're in the illusion, I go, am I a Christ or not? They go, when you're in the illusion, which is reality, you are Jesus Christ, or you are Christ, which is like Christ consciousness. But when you go to bed at night and you're dreaming, you are Jesus Christ. But since you're back in the illusion, before I wasn't in the illusion, I was out of the illusion, they made me a Jesus Christ. No, a Christ figure. I was a Christ figure. But since I'm back in the illusion, that can't be, because I'm in the illusion. So I'm a Jesus Christ. Or vice versa. I can't remember. Because I don't really give a fuck either way. But this, where you are, where your thoughts go, do you understand? It's insanity, man. And I want out. I want out. I'm sick of it. This is what it's been like for 7 fucking years. Brutal. Brutal. And meanwhile, I got energy coming through my head that amplifies all the noise. I got Christ putting the probes in my head, turning the machines on, jacking me up, psyops, dreams, lesson dreams. And now it's happening so goddamn fast, I don't even know what day it is anymore, because I just lay in bed experiencing this crap. And I can't really do nothing because they're tapping my... All this has to do with energy. Energy. Energy I need throughout the day to go do shit outside in the world. I wake up. By the time I've done my coffee in the morning, 2 hours later, I'm ready to go back to sleep for another 4 fucking hours. You can't do nothing, man, because you're constantly from world to world to world. And they're sucking your energy all day. You're not sucking it, I'm dumping it. Because there's connections inside you, and skins are separated, so the energy is always releasing. But since I've been in the illusion, since they got me in the box, the energy has slowed down considerably. But I never had enough time to fucking study it, because the sex thing has been ripping me apart with sex dreams, and I don't want the fucking sex dreams. So I'm fighting with Christ, I'm fighting with this, and then I bring Christ to see. He asked, I asked him, you want to see? He goes, yeah, let's go. He should know the goddamn rules. I don't fucking know the rules. Christ should know the fucking rules. If you're not supposed to go with an ego guy to see fucking Sasquatch, you don't fucking go. I don't fucking know. I'm just learning this shit. This is Jesus Christ healing me. Okay, let's go. So we go. He freaked out. There's a fucking Sasquatch. Something that doesn't supposed to exist. Standing on there. And I go, dude, how the fuck are you supposed to deal with the fucking aliens? 500 fucking races of aliens in the universe. How are you supposed to... I'm like, you got... I don't know what the fuck is going on. I talked to one Christ up there, real high. He knows everything about the fucking universe. Every goddamn thing. There's fucking aliens walking around. Everything's cool. Everybody's having a good time. Down here, on the first and second, third, fourth tier, oh fuck, you cannot fucking say a goddamn thing. Nothing. Aliens, they'll fucking throw stones at you. It is brutal, guys. I don't understand it. I don't even understand where I am half the time. They gotta come and tell me, we moved you to St. Jude. We moved you there. I'm like, how come I can't go to St. Rose? I really liked it. Lots of beer and girls having a good time. Oh, you swore there. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I can't go to the one place because I punched a Christ in the head, and I'm dreaming it was my dad. I punched him. I was dreaming it was my dad taking my cigarette away. So I ran around, fucking clocked him one. Now I can't go there anymore because I punched him in the head. Because I interpreted the wrong thing in the dream. The other genies, and they knew, but they don't want me there anymore. I can't go to Oceanside because I compromised Oceanside Christ with something. I got in an argument with him, that's right, about, I think he was the one about the Crixus thing. He was in me when I was watching that damn show, and he thought I accused him of something. On and on and on. And I don't even know I'm doing it. I didn't even know all these Christs that got mad at me. I didn't even know I was doing it to them because I'm watching a fucking show. They're in me, and they hear me go, "Fuck you, Jesus," blah blah blah, and I'm like, it's like a hockey game, right? They're fucking fighting with swords, and I'm like, "Fucking kill them, fuck you, fuck." This is my brain. Gets me in shit more times, only because they think it's my soul saying it, but it's my fucking brain saying it. They don't see the fucking duality. They just see soul. They don't see the body having a voice. And I get mixed up in my own head between my fucking brain voice thoughts, because I'm so intertwined with my soul into my thoughts. They think it's just a soul. But I'm like, no, I'm reacting in the fucking physical world. When I put my hand on a fucking hot stove, I'm gonna yell, "Fuck, that's hot! Give me a fucking beer to cool it down." They think, Jesus thinks, "Oh my God, Richard's insane!" My soul. But it's not my fucking soul. You understand? You really want to figure all this out in one lifetime? Don't talk to the dead. Do not talk to the dead. That's been my last 2 days. I don't even know what fucking day it is. 20th. Hopefully, I'm going to get out of the box. Or get back in the box. The voices are going to go away. I'm going to do my routine. And everything I'm hearing it now. They think they're saying I won or something. I'm back to normal. Christ is going to heal me in the box. So, all my kids are going to go check, find out what happened. The committee of elders, or whatever they are. Elder Christ, smart people. God. Found out it was all just bullshit, which I said in the first fucking place. I'm like, you're misinterpreting, you're taking to heart bullshit from my head. I'm watching a hockey game. I'm in a town. Oceanside, that's what it was. Oceanside. I was in Oceanside, most beautiful fucking town I've ever seen in my life. It's like Nova Scotia or something, but real small. And I was watching a hockey game, Philadelphia, and the refs, Philadelphia and Boston, they all beat the shit out of the kids. When we get the penalties, spend a whole period, I'm bitching in my head. Fucking ref, you fucking fucker, right? That's the way you watch hockey game. You vent, because they're screwing you. So 1 minute you're happy, it's an emotional roller coaster ride. I love it. I love hockey. But I'm screaming in my head. My kids are listening to the hockey game through me. They can actually go to the hockey game, which they've done. They can go to the hockey game or sit up high in the bleachers and watch it above, in the middle of zero, floating around watching the hockey game. Christ took them 100 times. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I'm wrapped up in a hockey game. My soul's interpreting. Everything's going on. Christ, all the people that are in this town are hooked up to this Christ that runs the town. Like the church in the middle of the town. There's Christ in the middle of the town with all the people. I'm in the middle of it going, kick his ass, kick the fucking shoot the fucking puck, you fucking referee, you fucking stupid moron. That's my soul's going. Christ is fucking losing his fucking mind. I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just watching a fucking hockey game. But he's here. My soul is hearing my thoughts. And that's the problem. I have to get my soul back around my fucking heart where it belongs and not in my head so they don't hear this shit. Christ is losing his fucking mind.